Michigan Congressman Dan Kildee, who is a Democrat. Sir, it's good to have you with me. In a tweet yesterday, you said it's morally wrong, not consistent with American values, and could make us less safe. We just heard from Reince Priebus on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd saying that they make no apologies for this, and they're actually using work of Congress and the Obama administration to red flag and identify these 7 countries. So why isn't it your work that they are using now to justify this ban?
Well, what Reince Priebus said is a deception. The fact that those countries might be places that harbor potential terrorists does not justify making the giant leap to an absolute ban based on the religious affiliation of a majority of people in that country. If they want to engage in extreme vetting, they really ought to take a look at the vetting procedures that are in place right now for a person applying for refugee status. They've never made any comment on that. It takes almost 2 years. So we can't allow that sort of dismissive tone that Reince Priebus and others are using to sort of normalize something that is clearly extraordinary and outside the bounds of anything we've seen in recent American history. This is not just another example of how we deal with those nations. This is a leap to a place that is obviously creating international reaction for good reason.
And you make a strong point about the refugee status versus the visa and green card issues here. And we know that in Michigan and the Detroit Free Press talking about the fact that your state has taken in nearly 8,000 of the nearly 170,000 refugees resettled in the U.S. What are you hearing from your constituents about this, and are you hearing more of an uproar and problems with visa and green card issues?
We are, and we're not just hearing an uproar, but we're hearing a lot of anxiety. I met with a group of Muslim American constituents just yesterday, and the reaction is obvious. Not only is this a concern in terms of the impact on family members who might be traveling overseas, or students who have gone home and want to come back, people with legal residence in the United States. But let's face it, this also attempts to stigmatize an entire population based on religious beliefs. So it affects people who are traveling to and from the United States, but it also generalizes and affects American citizens, Muslim American citizens who are here, already been subject to this sort of generalization, to stigmatization, and this just takes it even further. And I think probably the more important point beyond all of this is that it does not make us safer. It makes us less safe. Well, and to tell the world that we're going to put up a wall, not just on our southern border, but a wall for anyone who comes from one of those nations, not because they've been targeted, not because intelligence says they may be a problem, but because of their national origin, because of their religious beliefs. That's just flatly wrong.
Well, we're hearing back that foreigners don't have unfettered rights to come into America at will. One thing that we're witnessing, though, is the fact that there are law-abiding citizens who have applied through the process legally, and they're getting hung up in the chaos that this has created. But I want to get your take on the 3 executive orders that were signed yesterday. One of them restructuring National Security Council, making the chief strategist, Steve Bannon, a regular attendee of the Principals Committee. And it also removes, sir, the Director of National Intelligence and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, stating that they shall attend where issues pertaining to their responsibilities and expertise are to be discussed. So they're not going to be there cross-communicating at all times. I thought that we had worked as a country, especially over the last 16 years, to break down these intelligence silos so that everyone was connected at all times. What's your reaction?
It is just bizarre, and there's no way to say it's normal. There's no way to call it anything else but strange behavior by the President of the United States. Something is wrong with the President. When the National Security Council is being used not for our national security, but to deal with the President's obvious insecurities, when he has to surround himself with his political pals, not just in the White House, but on the panel that determines steps to keep America safe. He's trying to keep ego safe by surrounding himself with people who are political. Reince Priebus was a campaigner. He was the head of the RNC. Steve Bannon, give me a break. On the National Security Council, that's just bizarre.
Congressman Kildee, sir, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
got at least